Good afternoon. Happy Tuesday, April 28th. As we know today, and would have been primary day, but today is.
You are unmuted.
Uh, I'll just start again. So, happy Tuesday, April 28th. Today would have been primary election day here in Pennsylvania, but that day is now June 2nd. Continue to be working very hard for you at the city to help mitigate this COVID crisis, and we're still in the middle of it, as we all know. Things do change every day. We're starting to see some glimmers of hope in a decrease in the pace of cases, but as many of you know, the rate of death here in Lackawanna County is high and in relative to other counties. So we continue to be in close touch with the nursing homes, with the Department of Health, with the county, and we're trying to do everything that we can to make sure that we're still taking all those precautions so that we can protect our neighbors, our loved ones, and those frontline workers, those healthcare workers that are risking their lives every single day to help protect us and help to save lives. So thank you for everyone that's continuing to communicate with us on these town halls and ask questions and be concerned about your families and your neighbors and our community. It's deeply appreciated. And that's what I wanted to talk about today. We have a couple different things to go down, as we always do, and I'll look forward to answering your questions. But in talking about how we're helping each other, we're helping each other by staying home. We're helping each other by wearing masks. We're helping each other by really taking all those social distancing precautions when we go out on walks, when we leave the house at all, to go to the grocery store, to go to the pharmacy, by keeping our distance, by respecting each other, by taking those precautions. And so another way that we're helping each other is the amazing outpouring of community support for those who may have lost a job or were already really maybe struggling with underemployment or unemployment, struggling with food insecurity. We've all seen the images, I think, of the lines for the food bank drive-through giveaways here in Scranton, but all over our country. The reason that we have food insecurity in the United States is a topic for another town hall that I think we'll want to have at some point. But that's the immediate need is real. The immediate need is increasing, and families that were in need before were already getting help. Families now that never thought they would need to get help have had to raise their hands and seek out food from many of our great food distributors and direct service providers, like the Weinberg Food Bank, Friends of the Poor, Meals on Wheels, the Salvation Army, Keystone Mission, and the list goes on. So I am thrilled today to have Laura Duchessi from the Scranton Area Foundation on the call with us. She and I, the Scranton Area Foundation, the City of Scranton, we have partnered to create a fundraiser on Thursday night. It's the Heart of Scranton virtual fundraiser to help our neighbors. We are raising money between noon Thursday and noon Friday to get money to those providers of food in our area, the food bank, Meals on Wheels, and Friends of the Poor. Those are the entities here in Scranton that provide the most direct service for food to help make sure that every family has food on their table. So it's really been an honor to be able to work with Laura and her team on this effort. And I want to kick it over to Laura to explain a little bit more of what the fundraiser is and what it means to us here in the community.
Thank you, Mayor Cognetti. We're pleased from the Scranton Area Community Foundation to be able to join with you with the Heart of Scranton virtual fundraiser. I think it's critical in our region right now that we make an effort and an impact on food insecurity. It's still a significant challenge, and I think we're going to see it continue to be a challenge throughout the crisis and perhaps recovery period of the pandemic. A little bit about why I think this is so important, what you're doing to spearhead this initiative. The Scranton Area Community Foundation, being the community foundation of the Lackawanna County region, we help donors provide grants and support to causes that matter. We provide grants to what the community needs. And what we're really seeing that's come in since this crisis began was an extreme amount of need in our community. And that's from, vulnerable populations, organizations that serving vulnerable populations, the increased amount of individuals that are now out of work and maybe unable to access the type of resources that they had before, increasing the amount that's going to be facing our service providers. So the Heart of Scranton fundraiser is really an initiative that allows people in our community that want to give, that want to know how to donate resources to such an important issue, do that with a dollar for dollar match. So I think that, this partnership, Thursday night, 7 p.m., the virtual fundraiser, is really a way that we have a possibility in our region to raise over $160,000 in a 24-hour period for food insecurity, benefiting three very important nonprofit organizations that are working on this: the Weinberg Food Bank, Meals on Wheels, and Friends of the Poor. So anyone that's donating to this fundraiser, whether they're donating $5 or $50, that $5 becomes $10, that $50 becomes $100, and it can benefit one or more of these organizations, and they have the ability to do that. So I'm grateful that this is a priority to the city, and that you're taking this on. And because of this and the fact that we have partnering foundations like the Moses Taylor Foundation and the Geisinger Foundation and the Weinberg Foundation working with us, we're able to offer this match so people can make a difference.
The match is incredible. To be able to donate $1 and know that it will be $2, $5, and know it'll be 10. For those of you that have the means to donate $100, $250, $500, and know that impact will double, that will give double the amount of funding for example, the Weinberg Food Bank to be able to go into the wholesale market and buy food to be able to get out to our neighbors. It's just an incredible opportunity, and I can't thank those foundations and your foundation, Laura, enough for that. So we're very, very excited about the fundraiser, but the broader point of it, right, is to also draw awareness in our community that there is need out there, that the need that was already there remains and has even deepened. And then we have so many other families who never conceived that they would need help, that need help. And so it's really been amazing. It's devastating in a lot of ways to watch, but on the other side of it, we see the amazing efforts that people are making to make sure that we're helping our neighbors. And we see even and hear about stories of people who are in need themselves that are also volunteering, or in need themselves but are also able to give a few dollars. And that just really speaks to what this community is all about. And we're thrilled to be able to partner with you, Laura. I wanted to also talk to you about the NEPA COVID-19 Relief Fund. I was saying to you earlier that as I typed in your name in my inbox today to shoot you a note about something, the email came up from back in early March, mid-March, where you guys were starting this relief fund. If you could speak a little bit about that, I wanted to make sure everyone knows the good work that you guys have been doing from the very beginning of the pandemic.
Absolutely. I think, since we saw the beginning of this crisis in our region, the Scranton Area Foundation has really been focused for the past, I'd say, about 7 weeks on growing the NEPA COVID-19 Fund, which was launched as a collaborative fund specifically to benefit organizations, nonprofit organizations in our region that are in need, those that are serving vulnerable populations, those that are on the front lines, and those just need operating capital to be able to keep going. So this fund was launched through that charitable generosity that you mentioned makes northeastern Pennsylvania such a special place. When we launched this fund with a beginning of a $50,000 special distribution from the Scranton Area Foundation and another one from the Robert Spitz Foundation, we had hoped we would see growth in this fund because we knew the need was there. But the contributions that have come in from about, I'd say, over 15 foundations and many partnering individuals have enabled us in the past month to distribute over $400,000 in rapid response grants to over 66 organizations in the region. And that feels good to be able to get that kind of funds out the door to organizations that need it. And we're so grateful to the many donors that have come in that have helped us do that. But I will say And when we look at the grant requests coming in to the foundation, to this fund, we've seen over 2.5 million in requests coming in. So the need is there. And I think, it speaks to the fact that, like you said, this is a broader conversation. This fundraiser helps to address a huge need that we're seeing, food insecurity. And, we're trying to address it through the NEPA COVID-19 fund, but we need these other types of initiatives that help to address this need. So I want to say right now, this NEPA COVID-19 fund has raised about $900,000. And we're hoping that this can make multiple distributions, but we're still raising money for it because we know the need is going to continue.
Right. Right, and that's the thing that we talked about earlier too, was that right now we're in the middle of this crisis. We are hopeful that soon we'll be able to maybe take off some of the precautions in terms of the public health piece to be able to reopen some of our businesses, reopen some pieces of the economy. That's we're hopeful that that's soon on the horizon to be able at least to plan for. But in terms of need, in terms of economic need and the connecting to social services and our community, that need is only going to grow greater. And this is going to be a very long, both recovery period from COVID, but also we have a lot of work to do here in our community. And Laura, you and the Scranton Area Foundation are really the part of the backbone really of Scranton and of the entire region in making sure that our services are supported and drawing attention to the things like food insecurity that are so important to be not only paying attention to in normal times, but especially after this crisis. And I hope that if there are any silver linings to this terrible time that we're going through, it's that it's drawing attention to the fact that any family could be in need really at the drop of a hat. No household is protected from some sort of life-altering situation. And I'm just grateful that you're in our community. I'm grateful that we've been able to work together on this.
Yeah, we are as well. Thank you.
Thank you. So one more time, Laura, if you could say what the fundraiser is and when it is, and then I'll let you get back to all your work.
Absolutely. We're happy for this partnership. It's going to be very beneficial to the organizations in our region that are trying to address food insecurity. And it is going to be Thursday night, 7 p.m. on ECTV. But again, it can be viewed on YouTube too. There's a channel that it can be viewed on that. But it's going to be a program that we're going to hear from a variety of individuals from these organizations and representatives in our community. And so any donations that are made via a special link that's on the Scranton Area Foundation website for the Heart of Scranton, and if those donations are made between 12 noon on April 30th through 12 noon on May 1st, a 24-hour period, they receive a dollar-for-dollar match. It can also be, donations can also be made via a check. The check could be coming to the Heart of Scranton at the Scranton Area Community Foundation, 615 Jefferson Avenue, Scranton, PA 18510. And again, a $5 donation will become a $10 donation. So we're grateful to be able to partner in this fundraiser with you.
Thank you, Laura. I really appreciate it, and I will see you on Thursday at 7 for the event.
See you soon.
Thanks.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thanks, Laura. All right, so we're very excited about that partnership. It's a dollar-for-dollar match, which is really incredible. But again, the real bottom line here is that we have so many members of our community that need our help, and I deeply appreciate everybody else out there who is going through this crisis with empathy for each other and gratitude for what they have, and being able to be generous to the extent that you can be, even if it's just a few dollars. That's super, super helpful to our neighbors. So I'll turn back to the reason we're all here today on the COVID front. So the CDC released some new symptoms so that's a pretty big development. So on the CDC website, you can see it. It's updated coronavirus symptoms. Symptoms may appear 2 to 14 days after exposure. People with these symptoms or combination of symptoms may have COVID-19. Cough, shortness of breath, or difficulty breathing. And then this is kind of a new format here, or at least 2 of the following symptoms: fever, chills, repeated shaking with chills, muscle pain, headache, sore throat, new loss of taste or smell. So we'll post these from the CDC. We'll put those up. But it's important to know that the CDC released those because that will help us identify, maybe you weren't able to get a test before, but maybe the symptoms that you have are, maybe they do qualify to get a test. So we're still in the world where the institutions that are testing are only testing if you have COVID symptoms. Again, CDC updated guidance, more symptoms on the sheet here. So it's important that you know that if you are experiencing symptoms, you still call your healthcare provider or call the Department of Health at 877-PA-HEALTH, or you can call the Geisinger Nurse Triage line at 570-284-3657. So same procedures, but just an added few symptoms to the list. And so if you are still concerned, are newly concerned that you might have this, we're going to again update that or post that updated CDC guidance for you so that you can look at that. So call those numbers if you have symptoms. If you have general questions that we might be able to help you with, 348-4101 is the phone number for those of you on the phone line. That's our office here. And of course, we've got our Facebook page and the website to help as well. But the CDC website, cdc.gov, that's always a good resource too for those general guidance pieces from the CDC. So again, same precautions remain in place, staying at home, only going out for essential tasks, wearing masks, keeping social distance when you are out. I know we're really tired of it. I realize that, but it's still very important because as we've seen, the number of cases in Scranton, we have had over this stretch of time 516 cases. Now, I do want to put a caveat in here, and I know there was a resident that sent in an email to City Council this week about posting the Scranton cases. We certainly can start doing that. I'm happy to do that. I'll say the cases information we get from the Department of Health are by zip code. Some of the zip codes bleed into Dunmore and Dixon City, so it's not exactly precise, and that's speaks to what I've been advocating for, what so many of us in the state have been advocating for, mayors and county commissioners who don't have health departments. We don't have all the data that we need. We've been able to, I think, get the public health precautions and the policies and the recommendations out there that we've needed to really fight this hard. However, we do need a Department of Health. We do need to be able to get that data. So I don't have a precise number of Scranton cases. It's not information that I get. It's not information I can get. Trust me, I've tried. So it's a flaw in the system, and I will continue to be advocating for Scranton to be treated as if we have a health department. There's a lot of legal layers that are blocking that. But during this crisis, and then as we hit the recovery reopening phase, and as we of course continue to mitigate any new waves of the crisis, we'll continue to be advocating that. And I have lots of other mayors around the state who are in the same boat, and we all need the same information. So the rate of the cases has started to slow, which is great news, but it doesn't mean we can take the foot off the gas. As I always say, we have to remain vigilant and hold strong. We're just not there yet, and I appreciate everybody's patience as we go through this and trudge along. And I'm as restless, I think, as all of you are out there too. I would love to get out there and resume our normal life. So just stay strong out there, and we'll continue to get you the information that you need. So on the, emergency declaration, it's currently till Friday. I will be extending that declaration this week, so we aren't going to end on Friday. It'll be re-upped. I think I'm going into the office later today to sign that. On the election front, like I said at the top, today would have been primary day. Now it's June 2nd. Today would have been primary day, so let's all do something for elections and protecting our right to vote. Please go to votespa.com. votespa.com. Register to vote if you're not already registered, and sign up to receive a mail-in ballot. If you sign up now, you've got to do the mail-in, because what we can't have on June 2nd is, I don't think we should all be going to the polls and standing next to each other in line and sharing pens and sharing ballot booths. Now, I advocated to the Secretary of State that we do all mail-in across the state. I'm not sure that can happen, but I really am encouraging everyone in Scranton and throughout the county to go to votespa.com, ask for that mail-in ballot, get the ballot mailed to you, fill it out, get it back, and don't have to worry about going to the polls on June 2nd. We know that this virus is not, we might be winning a battle, but we're not winning the war on this virus until we have more testing, more contact tracing, and until we have truly a vaccine, right? So this is going to go on for a while. We need to ask for those mail-in ballots now, and I would say ask for mail-in ballots for the general election as well, this summer as we turn to the general election. So protect yourself and your family and your vote. I think that's kind of the thing. Protect yourself and your vote by grabbing a mail-in ballot. Votespa.com is the website. If you don't have a computer access, I'll have Megan, if you could please post the phone number for the county election office, that would be great. That way you can I think call that great office. It's great people working there, and they'll set you up. I continue to share the frustration that's out there about the unemployment situation. We still don't have any updates in terms of how to expedite requests and submissions for unemployment. We're continuing to try to get those answers for you, and as soon as we have something, we'll update you. In the meantime, in case you don't know, the independent contractors now have an access window. Self-employed, independent contractors, gig economy workers. There is now the PUA, the Pandemic Unemployment Assistance Program for the state of Pennsylvania. So you now are eligible. You'll be able to apply backdated to January 27th. So it's all good news on paper, and it's all good news. It's eventually going to come. But it's been a really tough process. I don't envy anyone that's working at labor and industry on unemployment. So let us know, let us know your stories of how you either have gotten unemployment or have not. And we can use those as examples to take that and try to make sure that we're getting the right information to the state to demonstrate the need here in Scranton and try to figure out how we can help you more. On the food side, very excited and so honored to be able to work with the Scranton Area Foundation and Weinberg, Moses, and Geisinger Foundations on this fundraiser. Please participate if you can. It'll help get more resources to these food giveaways. So it's a great way to be able to help if you're not able to physically volunteer. So again, always dial 211 to get connected to services. There will be another Friends of the Poor drive-through giveaway tomorrow. That's Wednesday, April 29th. It's 2:30 to 5:30 at Our Lady of the Peace School. That's 401 North Abington Road in Clark Summit. You can register on site, and it's a drive-through only. The pantries, Jackson Value Terraces, Monday through Friday, 9 to 12. Keystone Mission, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 1 to 4. That's at the 8 West Olive Street location. The Salvation Army, call 344-9878 to apply over the phone and schedule a pickup. There's also drive-through at 500 South Washington Avenue, Tuesdays through Fridays. That piece, okay, yeah. So all of those that I just listed, the food bank is a source of food for all of those entities. So the fundraiser is really important as a way to help them if you can't go volunteer yourself. Other volunteer opportunities, helping the homebound, connecting seniors with volunteers who can check on them. Volunteer at uwlc.net or call 963-6740. You can volunteer with Friends of the Poor at 340-6086. That's for the daily food pantries or the food giveaways. Weinberg Food Bank, the website is ceopeoplehelpingpeople.org. They are looking for volunteers to pack boxes. KeystoneMission.org, Meals on Wheels, 346-2421. United Neighborhood Center is also looking for volunteers, 346-0759. And remember, you can always donate blood if you're an eligible donor. 1-800-Red Cross. The need there is it's always there, and it's certainly there now. So to questions. Thanks, guys, for sticking with me today. James is asking about refuse bills. Have refuse bills gone out? They have not gone out yet. James, we are working to make sure that they are accurate and that we are balancing the need for the city to get funds with the change in economic circumstances of so many of our residents. That there's actually, I believe, the legislation for a change in those terms is going through city council tonight to do that. So we'll be, once we get the clearance from city council, we will get those refuse bills out to you. And we are encouraging, well, currently there's no way to pay in person. You can pay over the phone, you can pay online, you can pay those refuse bills. If you want to prepay, it's $300. If you want to prepay, you can do that. You can go to the scrantonpa.gov website to access the link. So we were already, as an administration, encouraging remote methods, credit cards, and using payments online for all of the city services and bills. And this pandemic has really made it very clear how important that is. So Jean is asking, where can I get a mask? So we continue to get masks, homemade masks, delivered to the firehouses. If you want to call and have us hold one for you, 348-4101. Those are the fabric masks. My understanding from some of you that are on these town halls is that there are masks available, at least at certain points there have been masks available at Garrity's. And I'm forgetting a couple of the other stores that we've seen in the last few days. Anybody who's on the Facebook, if you can add that in on the comments of where you might have seen them in the last few days. I personally haven't left the house in many days, so I don't know. But I believe Garrity's did have some. But if 348-4101, we're at the city, we're happy to try to match you with a mask if we can. And the big question from Aaron. Aaron, is social distancing going to be the new normal? I can't answer anything definitively, but I will tell you from the people I talk to in the medical community, the people that I talk to in leadership positions, the infectious disease specialists that I talk to, we are going to have to figure out a way to design a new normal, at least for the medium term, as we try to, not we, but those amazing scientists out there in the United States and in the world to find a vaccine. So we are going to have to make changes. And I know we've seen on the national news, there are some states, some cities, sometimes it's just, private businesses that are opening up. And, we're hopeful that we can really start planning. We certainly are planning for that, but we're hopeful we'll be able to start implementing that soon. But it's going to have to be different. We're seeing that it just isn't going to, you're not going to be able to just go back tomorrow and be at a crowded bar, or go back tomorrow and sit next to somebody in class, or maybe even in a church pew. So we will continue to look at all of those things. And I believe as a government leader that it's my role to make decisions based on medical science and the advice of medical professionals on this. There's a lot of desire on the economic front, if we just look at it in a narrow way on the financial economic front, to get back to quote normal as soon as possible. But we have to put the economic business piece, and we have to marry that with what the medical professionals are saying, what the public health officials are saying. Going back to the fact that we don't have a public health department, we really have to put this together. And I and my Chief Lucas, my emergency management coordinator, we're constantly talking with medical professionals to see what that public health response is, and how we're going to do that. How we're going to make sure that we're covering all our bases and not allowing COVID back into our lives as best we can. So, Aaron, it's a great question. It's a big question, and that's another reason we're doing these so frequently, is to keep you as updated as we can in real time. So let me just switch over here to the live questions. Patricia's asking, why aren't churches allowed to give free clothing to needy people if the bags of clothing are picked up without any person-to-person contact? Patricia, I don't know the answer to that question, and I have some guesses. as to what's going on. I haven't made any recommendations from a city perspective on that particular issue. If you'd like I see that you're on Facebook, so you have internet access. So I would say if you can give us more information on that issue, we can look into it for you. You can email scranton311 at scrantonpa.gov. And Anne has a great question that is also my question. Why are so many people downtown not wearing masks? I don't know how many more times I can say it. We have the Scranton Police has a billboard that says wear masks. We are trying to do everything we can to have people do that. I think that we obviously need to do more. So we'll work on doing more to get that memo out, especially to Erin's point about social distancing is that the new normal. Figuring out how we really are helping the community follow the quote unquote rules, and wearing those masks to protect each other. So we'll continue to try to do more outreach, and that's a really good question. It's frustrating. Let's see. Let's see. Hi Debbie, I see your note. Hello. It's been a while. Let's see. Yeah, so Maryland, same on the unemployment benefits. Frustrating, I know, and as soon as we can get more info, we'll get that to you. If I had a line in for Scranton, believe me, I'd let you know. Wait, the Blue Angels are flying over? Please post that so we can all check that out. That's amazing. I hope that's real. Okay, let's see. Yeah, so Patricia, I see you. Yeah, get that information to us, and we'll help sort that out. Oh, yeah, if we can stand in line at stores, we can stand in line to vote. I think an answer to that, Christina, would be the store, a retail store. From personal experience, daily experience in my life, whenever my husband, sorry, my phone's beeping. I don't want to touch it because I don't want to cut this off. Let me just text that person back. Sorry. Sorry, that's why we do these live, and we just a couple things. Okay, and I see another question on there. So what I would say, Christina, so my husband is a store owner himself. He's been working around the clock for the last 7-8 weeks on how to make it safe to shop in his store. With the voting locations, voting locations are really pop-up businesses for a day. There are things that we could do, I think, from a social distancing perspective. However, you have to think about the ballot booths themselves. If we have 120,000 people voting in Lackawanna County on that day, think about the number of wipes, gloves, masks, everything that would need to happen to make sure that the booths were wiped down, the pens were wiped down, the ballots were clear, the ballot machines were clear of germs. I know that they'll do everything that they can. I'm confident that they'll do everything that they can. I'm encouraged by the Lackawanna County Bureau of Elections. They've said that they are seeing a massive uptick in requests for mail-in ballots. So the more mail-in ballots we have, the less densely populated those voting booths will be on June 2nd. Again, I would prefer it's all mail-in voting. That's, I think, the best way to mitigate this. But it's really hard and expensive for the county to provide all of that. So I know that the voting booths will be as safe as they possibly can be, but the more people that mail in, the fewer people, the fewer wipes, the fewer sprays of Clorox, the less concerned that our great volunteers who work at polling locations will feel. So it's important to get that mail-in ballot there. And Dan, I also want to get back to normal. Okay, so let's see, economic projections. Okay, so Mel, you're saying Luzerne County posted some economic projections. We have been working on those. I've been very hesitant to just start releasing projections because I don't like to deal in things that aren't concrete. I mean, nothing in governing is concrete, but I haven't just wanted to be saying like this percentage, this percentage, this amount of revenue down. I don't want to make projections to the extent of my ability that I can't be sure of. The city does have a hearing on 1 o'clock on Thursday. It's the Department of Community and Economic Development at the state is hosting a hearing on our Act 47 status here in the city. So that's at 1 o'clock. It's a Zoom meeting. I know they were getting that information into the paper. We'll make sure to post it as well. But 1 o'clock on Thursday. So because of that hearing, we do have some projections that we have to put out there, and we'll be doing that. But I do want to make the caveat that we just don't know yet. I mean, we're on the phone all the time with folks advocating that they want their property taxes kicked, or they want this, that, and the other thing. And we're trying, like I said with the refuse bill, we're trying to consider the need of the city to pay its bills and keep police, fire, sanitation, public works operating, and the economic considerations that are really really difficult for our businesses and for our families in our residents. So we're trying to weigh those things, but we'll be getting more out there in the coming days. Okay. Derek's asking about the lack of a Department of Health. It's a statewide problem. There are only 4 municipalities and 6 counties that have departments of health in Pennsylvania. So we will not be alone in advocating for and planning for applying to get one. Okay, let's see. Oh, Susan, I see your question. So the Department of Elections, sorry, the Bureau of Elections, your vote will count. A mail-in ballot will count. That's not that should not be a concern. I please trust in the mail-in ballot system and sending your vote in. That vote will count. That I okay. So we consider there's a lot to do on the lots to do on the voting side, and I'll say I'm from Oregon, where we've had mail-in ballots since. So I first voted in the 2000 election, and it was a mail-in ballot. Vote at home has been the norm in for my adult life in Oregon. It really does work, and you actually see the number of voters go up. If you only have if you have a situation like Pennsylvania where it's only one day, you want to get out there and vote. What if your father that you take care of is sick? What if the child that you need to care for can't go to school that day, and so you're all messed up, or your dog gets sick, or it snows, or there's so many things that can happen that can risk your ability to raise your voice, raise your hand, get your vote in on those days. So the system of mail-in ballots is a great way to make sure that your voice is counted no matter what happens. I think this crisis is a good example of we never know what the day is going to bring. So a mail-in ballot is a way to make sure we get more people casting their votes. Is the city going to accept payments for city taxes? Yes, we absolutely are accepting payments for taxes. Absolutely. We are still working on, so we've delayed the earned income and business privilege mercantile tax deadline till July 15th following the state and federal. I know the county has made a decision that they're not going to charge penalties on property taxes. We are working with the school district to make a determination here at the city and for the school district. So that's again something that we really have to weigh those two factors in that way. Let's see. Okay. So Jared, Truck 4, again, this is a safety issue, and Truck 4 has been closed, I believe, 3 or 4 days since March 20th. It's not closed every day. It is a new schedule in the COVID crisis to mitigate different shifts coming into contact with each other. But it's contrary to what you might think, it's not closed every day. Okay. Okay, and then Glenda asking about Marts. I am going to be speaking with the owners of Marts today to talk through things with them, and we'll do everything we can to get to the right solution there. And they're very reasonable and thoughtful business people. So I'm sure that we'll get to the right decision there. And I appreciate them communicating with us. So let's see, anything else? Okay, okay. So Norma, anything to do to help kids get online? That is a great question, and I have an email in to talk to someone about that. But I know that the school district's working on it, and the city and the county are very aware of that. So we will do what we can. It's an issue similar to back to the top about talking about food insecurity, an issue that we already had. This situation has exacerbated it, and we needed to solve it before. Now we really need to solve it. We need to make sure these kids can learn and keep pace while they're learning from home. So Norma, thanks for mentioning that. I don't see any other questions. Let's see. Okay, Kevin, small retail business, supplies the building industry. When will I be able to reopen? So, Kevin, that's a good question. The governor's team, the governor's working with all the governors in the region. I think that at the state level, they would probably have the best answer and the quickest timeline for that. That's a really good question about, you can open up construction, but what about the retail feeders into that? So yeah, I would check in with the state, but if you want to email us directly, scranton311@scrantonpa.gov, we'd be happy to send that along to our contact too. And James, do you think the kids will be back in September? I don't know. I really don't know. I know the superintendent of schools, Missy McTiernan, I know Katie Gilmartin, the president of the school board, are working really hard with their teams, and the Department of Education is working hard. And again, I think the state is doing a great job of working with the other states around us, New Jersey, New York, Connecticut. I'm not sure what's going to happen with that. And I think we have to really look at it again from a medical perspective and see what things might look like in September. I know that it would be awful to not have schools back in session this September. So I know everyone in positions of authority will do what they can to try to make that possible. But first and foremost, we have to protect health and safety. So that's going to be a really carefully thought out issue, and we'll make sure that we're talking with the colleges, we're talking with the school districts. I'm sure that they'll be very upfront whenever they do make a decision, and we're in touch with them about that. So it's unbelievable that we're having the conversation, right? This is a time in our lives that we will never forget. I appreciate all of you so much for asking your questions and having this whole situation be a community dialogue. I just truly appreciate everybody out there that's in it with us. It does feel like a team effort with all of you texting in, emailing in, calling in, on Facebook Messenger, on the phone call, on the phone line. Having these every few days really helps me understand what's going on out there, what's the need out there, and I appreciate all of you. So of course, can't thank enough our first responders, our nurses, our doctors, the guys out there on the city team that are continuing to pick up all the garbage and the mess. And please don't litter. That's the one thing I have to say. I hate to sound like a scold. Please don't litter. I don't know why this is a problem. Please protect my sanitation, public works fellas. They're out there working their tails off for you every day. Please don't litter, because they have to clean up after you. That's not fair. Same with my parks and rec guys. So please think of them. And again, all the hospital workers, from the folks in the cafeteria, to the nurses, to the doctors, to the administrators, to those that are working the paperwork at the front desk. They are putting their lives on the line every day, and we deeply appreciate it. So thank you all for being here. 7 p.m. on Thursday night, ECTV and YouTube, for that virtual fundraiser. That link is live from noon Thursday to noon Friday. $1, $100, $1,000. What you give will be doubled. That impact will be doubled with the generosity of those community foundations. So thank you all, and we'll see you Friday at noon, and hope you tune in on Thursday night as well. Thank you.